One second. Okay. This. Okay. You should see this presentation. What do you see? Do you see the brickline?
Not yet.
Lost it.
Okay. What was that about? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try this one more time. Okay, what do you see now?
There it is.
There it is.
All right, awesome. So I'm gonna skip ahead to the fun part, to my part, you know. I know y'all about business. We're gonna get right into it. So so this is that map, the 1932 Sanborn map of Mill Creek. So that red line is where my monument is going. So that's a mile long. There's nothing in the country like this. So, Ms. Barbara, I want you to really know that it may sound like you're not the centerpiece, but there is not. This is a national monument. I'm very proud at the age that I am to be able to do something like this. I totally understand communities being overlooked. I'm from East St. Louis. Nobody ever talks about us unless it's a Miles Davis conversation, right? So I hear you, and I hope that the work that I'm doing here pays just a little, like a small amount of the respect that y'all deserve for what Mill Creek, how much the people of Mill Creek has built this city. You know what I'm saying? So that's the old map, right? So none of this stuff is still here. So this is what it's gonna look like in real time, right? So we're gonna start at this MLS. That's the soccer stadium that's being built. It's gonna be a cluster of about 8 of them there, like a whole, like a real, like, I don't know, I hate to use the word real, the whole thing is a monument, but this is gonna be a hub right there. Also a greenery where people can gather and stuff of that nature. I get to close-ups of it in just a second. And along that whole strip of market, there will be individual pedestals, right? And so I was telling y'all about, I asked them for the quotes and stuff. Inside each one of the pedestals, there's the plan is to have quotes, different quotes that go along with where we standing. The one at the People's Building will be a little bit more, a little special, because it's going to be 2 bronze statues of children at the top. I'll explain to you why I'm doing that in just a second. So along, you see like each node where it's like 13, 12, 11. Those are individual markers, right? When by the time we get down, excuse me, to the Stars Field tribute, there's going to be a few specific pieces that are not the same design aesthetic, but will commemorate the St. Louis Stars, the Negro League team. So another bronze statue that I didn't design with a kid and a telescope, or that I'm working on designing, a kid and a telescope, but then also other markers to explain like they was a championship team, information about them. Then when we get all the way down to the Vashon building, which is going to be the Jazz Institute. I think they're doing a jazz museum there. Another hub, another cluster of these, and that one will be in a circular design. The other one is in a square design. So it should work both ways. So it like whether you start from this side, whether you start from Harris Stowe and go down to the MLS, or you go from the MLS down to Harris Stowe, the plan is to make it work both from any angle, you know. So let's get closer. So this is the sky view of where this MLS building would be, right? So you see right here is the main installation, but this greenery is supposed to be a gathering space. It was really important for me that one is it's an open space, and one where Black people feel comfortable going and being out and being a part of it. I don't want it to make it too too bougie, where people don't want to be out there and people don't think that they're safe out there. People don't want to be around it, quite frankly. That's where I'm coming from when I'm making it. I want something that,
How do you do that?
Well, you want me to explain? So what I'm thinking is like when we get into class and we get into seeing police everywhere, and police are not there, and when I done grew up in, they have never been you know, it's to protect property, and it's also a signal to a certain class of people, usually of Black people, but it could be white people, it could be poor, but there's a class of people that usually ain't welcome in certain spaces. So what I'm trying to do is create a space that everybody feel welcome in, no matter what their economic class is, no matter what their color is, but specifically Black people feel comfortable being out here and being around this space. So that's what I mean. That bougie might not be the right word, but I hope I just explained what I meant by that use of that word.
No, I agree wholeheartedly with
Yes, ma'am.
your concept. I just want to know how do you design that to make sure that all ethnic groups, all classes feel, like you say, safe and comfortable? How does that design work?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know how you know, I can try. It ain't no guarantee to it, but I can tell you what I was thinking about. I was thinking like keeping it open, right? There's no fences, there's nothing so high that looks like you're not supposed, you know, it's an open air moving space. So that was one thing. And so I know like shrubs are also used for that. Shrubs are used to keep people, you know, rich people grow high shrubs. That's a signal to you, to like, so that you don't see into that. So one thing was really about keeping the space open. But these markers, I wanted them larger than life. One, because like I said, I grew up here. I didn't even know this existed. A lot of people don't know that this place existed. And I want the impression that like you cannot ignore it. I want it up so high and so big, right? That you could see it, you know, you could see it from miles out, that you finna get to something. You're gonna get to this monument. And even when you're standing next to it, they 15 feet high, and you can see how, like, just with the people around, you can see how big these things is gonna be. So standing right next to them, you have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to acknowledge it. And metaphorically, the reason for that is because the history has been overlooked for way too long. And when you see this, you're gonna, like, if you're not from here, and if you are, when it first go up, people gonna want to know what it is, and that alone is gonna bring people to this area, and it's gonna at least spark something. They probably won't learn the deepest, like you know what I'm saying, all of the details, but it should spark an idea so that people go back and check this out. And we're gonna make sure that it's not hard to find either, that the information ain't hard to find. So we're working on different ways to do that with like augmented reality and stuff of that nature.
May I ask another quick question?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead,
Because
Ms. Horn.
when you think about future generations, current and future, and how they, when they're reading those quotes, if they're all rosy and rhapsodic, that's one extreme.
Yeah.
It's all negative. That's
They
another.
not. Yes, ma'am. And I'm super. Yeah, I want to. Yes, I'm right there with you. Even in just in this cluster here, when you see the ones that I done picked, some of them good, some of them bad, you know. But I think that what we have been seeing is always leaning on the bad. Whether it's movies, music, like they lean on that part of the Black experience. A lot of people do, because we ain't usually in control of it. So I want a balance. I want it to be real people. People ain't good or bad. They both. So and it take people of all types and all types of experiences to make a community. So definitely, Ms. Horn, we're like that's my main goal, and all the way down, up and down the thing, that you hear good experiences, you hear bad experiences, or just not overly like overly cheery the whole way through. Because I think we usually use a heavy-handed approach to amending history instead of just telling the whole truth. So one of my goals is just trying to tell the whole truth. So that's why I'm here to talk to y'all, to get the truth, you know. So yes, ma'am. We're gonna go. Let's get even closer on it. So so the idea around this, I said it at the one I was at, but you couldn't see it. So now this idea may make a lot more sense. So the basic premise of this is that over time, things have been erased, right? So I want to think of what's the most universal symbol for time that I can think of. Children, babies, people that speak French, German, wherever they from. What's something that time like represents time? And the first thing that came to my mind was an hourglass. So the initial this is a manifestation or my take on playing with the shape of an hourglass. So if you look at the two slabs, these are two slabs of granite, right? The outsides are going to be shiny, and this face, the face that you're seeing towards you, this is going to be a little bit less shiny, right? So it's going to be two different faces. But this negative space is a representation of an hourglass. You know, the two triangles that sit on top of each other. And the idea is that this part this is going to be actual dirt, actual earth from Mill Creek, and there's a process called rammed earth that they can you can just basically put so much pressure on this stuff that you can make rocks in real time, like make stones, but it'll be the actual earth that comes from Mill Creek that sits in this top part. And that's the idea, or the idea of that is that we're not only taking something that has been buried, literally the dirt. We're taking the dirt from Mill Creek, something that's been buried, the ideas, these stories, these, you know what I'm saying, these experiences, and we hoisting it up 15 feet high for people to see from basically any vantage point. And then the second layer of it is that, and when the hourglass is going, the way that we know time is passing is because the sand is going to the bottom. So the idea is that the sand is staying at the top, or the earth is staying at the top. So that means we stop time for a second, so that we can acknowledge a time and a place and a people that didn't get they fair due when it was around, right? So not only excavating these things, like an archaeologist, like digging up these stories, but like putting them on a pedestal for the whole world to see. And that's kind of, at least that's the metaphor that I'm playing with this specific design. I also wanted something that is simple, and my favorite stuff is simple and elegant. Basic shapes, clean rendering, because it could be any time. It's a timeless thing. So like you're saying, generations later, 20, 30 years later, I think that this type of design will still be, just minimalism will still be cool and still clean. But it's still got a futuristic edge to it, I think, with the materials that we use. We're gonna have the braille will be these quotes that I'm getting from y'all. These will go on the inside. You're not meant to walk in. That's another thing. You're not meant to like grown-ups won't be able to fit in. Like maybe a little kid will be able to fit through there, but you're not meant to walk in there, right? And the idea is that it's at an angle for you're peeking in. So what you're seeing, the idea of that is these people and these experiences, you're being let in on something personal and something vulnerable and something genuine coming from actual people that lived here, right? It's almost like being invited into somebody's home that lived there, right? And so the idea is that you will be able, it'll be visible, you'll be able to read it, but it's not supposed to be like you go in there and get in there. It's like you getting the privilege of getting these quotes, or you getting the privilege of hearing what actual residents said and how they live. So we built one, right? And I think we're gonna pull this back out. I don't know if they kept it or broke it apart, but this is one built out of wood, just so I could see how tall it is. I wish I had a picture of me standing next to it. So I'm like 5'11", 6 feet, and it's at least double me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that high up. So it's a big monument. And so if you see to this area, this is how the finish is gonna be. Shiny on this side, on the outside. And it's gonna be a little bit rougher right here. So it'll be, and the inside will be just like this smaller piece. And that's so basically when it's lit up at night, you can still read the words, because if it's too shiny, like the light you won't be able to read the words at nighttime. So we cutting it a certain way so that you can still read the words on the inside. Okay, so this is the first formation. This probably gonna be the first thing made. So you see these lines right here? These are actual lot lines of the buildings and the houses that sat right there in that position, right? So another way of thinking about this is again, I want to take people back to this space, and then like whole space, like take up space. Like this is where actual houses live, like people was at, like in this specific place, and you could see how they were shaped. When you and so from either side, you see these holes are kind of like doorways. That's why we've been calling it pedestals and portals. So it's kind of like a doorway into to the past, right? But it's also a metaphor for like, this is somebody's house. If you cross this threshold, respect, just be respectful. Same like what I was taught, when somebody lets you into their house, you know, it's a certain way of carrying yourself. So I want people to have respect and reverence when they in this plaza. And so we another thing, that same stuff that's at the top of each one of them, that dirt, the round dirt, we're gonna have one pedestal in the middle. So this is one thing that Elizabeth brought up to me earlier today, and that I want to ask y'all. So from one of the interviews that I read, and I'm not totally sure on who exactly said it, but they brought up 3 different names, right? That I basically what the people in the neighborhood, the nicknames of this area, right? So Mill Creek Valley is the official name that I heard, but I heard Brownsville and Little Memphis. So the idea was to put those nicknames on the middle of this thing. Like this is gonna be cut in, it's gonna be cut into the stone, and it's gonna be bronze inlay inside, so it'll shine a little bit. But it's also like, I think the nicknames are important. It's familiar, it's family-like. It's like I'm from this hood. This is what we call it. It's not about what y'all name. It's about what we call it. So I wanted to include those names too, because and also just like the names, the actual names that got came up with. Brownsville is a dope name, and Little Memphis. I like that a lot. So I want to make sure that those get in there. But I also want to do some fact checking with actual people that live there before we cut this literally into stone, and then it's up there. So I wanted to hear some of y'all, just some of what y'all think about that and those names. And if you, yeah, exactly. And have you even heard those names before, or did the person make it up?
I'm going to give you some feedback on that.
Okay.
Being a historian myself,
Yes, ma'am.
I think it would be confusing. I know of Mill Creek. I wasn't born in St. Louis, but I know of Mill Creek based upon what I have learned throughout the years. This Little Memphis thing, never heard of it. Brownsville sounds like someone was trying to equate one to the other. So, if we're commemorating Mill Creek, I think that's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
It's commemorating Mill Creek.
I agree. I've never heard of those 2 either. And it might have been a few people who may have said that. I think, like you said, the right thing. You want to do some fact checking, and probably the history might be able to give, because they collect old newspaper articles from the Black press. I mean, so there's a way to research that to make sure. But I agree with what you're saying too, that it's confusing. But I've never heard of those other 2 names ever.
Okay.
This is Lois Collier Jackson. May I make a few comments?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me? Okay, my grandmother and her husband and the 8 children lived in the 3500 block of Market, just east of Grand. And the Mill Creek actually ran back behind their apartment where they were. It was like a 4-family flat. My aunt, who is 103, said that Grandma Collier used to send them down to the creek to get fresh water that they drank. So there's not going to be anything about water, because Mill Creek is related to the creek running down through that neighborhood also.
Yes, ma'am. We're going to get to that part, but I want to know about Brownsville and Little Memphis right now. But I got a part for the water. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to show it to you.
Okay, I've never heard of Brownsville or Little Memphis.
Okay. So that's 3 people that live here that ain't never heard that. All right. Thank you. Miss Martin.
Yes.
What do you think?
I'm just pushing for Mill Creek Valley.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I think
All right.
that's what we need to see.
I hear that. Okay. I definitely, Miss Horn, I definitely hear you. I definitely want to check some kind of records. But I understand if it's confusing. Yeah, and it also will be signage to explain all of each choice I make. And art ain't always, people don't understand all the parts of art all the time. I do want to say that too. So I don't want to be afraid to do stuff.
Let me say this too.
Yes, ma'am.
I wrote, and I want to say this to Elizabeth too. I wrote a book too about Mill Creek. It came out in 2018. I did lots of research.
Yeah.
That's why and then I was a journalist for the Black press.
Yes, ma'am.
And wrote extensively for years. So that's why I said I never heard of that.
And not once, never heard of it.
I did research on it. And then, but just to double check, you might want to check with the History Museum to see if that's something that was widely used. Maybe a few people used it, but to see if it was widely used. But it would be confusing because if we're trying to restore the name and restore the history and recognize the people who live there, I think it muddles it a bit with those three.
I hear that. I hear that. Okay. 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 Point taken. So we were just talking about the water.
Yes.
Next to this whole thing, right? There's a plinth that's going to be there. This is like 20 feet long. This is, you can see behind the size of these people, this is not a short amount of time, right? Like, so this is a big piece of the, and this is made out of the same stuff. It's polished granite. And so the main things to this is the Sanborn map, from the 1932 census. That's this part, right? Excuse me. There is the statement that I wrote about what I was trying to do with making this, so the artist statement. And then these are names of people, specifically people that live within this 1 block radius of where this plinth is going, like right at the MLS stadium. So, Elizabeth, what year is the census that we took those names from?
1940, and it's the block between Chestnut Market, 21st and 22nd.
Okay, right on. So those are the people. And so at first I didn't have the last names. I wanted to do it like more like you family, like first name sort of stuff. But through pushback from other people, especially people that live there, people are really wanted to see the last names, because I guess it felt like it was more erasure to not have people's last names. So now we include both first and last name, age of the person, and their the job that they did that was on the census, right? So, because I also want to show that there's a cross section of class, there's people doing different jobs, and you also get it's really fun for me as I'm looking at this. Like you'll see Charles 9, so you know that's a child. There's 3. Charles was a very, very, very popular name in this block in 1940 for some reason. I don't know if it was a famous person named Charles that everybody started naming their kid after, but it's really, there were clues inside of these names that you could see of certain things about how people was living, what they was into. So I really like that me personally, as somebody, you know, a younger person that's in the history, just seeing what people was doing and how they was living, jobs that don't exist anymore, railroad car porter, like things that I had to figure out what that even is. I had to go back because I saw it on this census, right? And so I think it's going to be a lot of fun, especially when they bring kids from schools to this, because this is going to be a destination that people bring kids from junior high schools and high schools. I really think. Oh wait, I didn't even. Most important point: the water. So this other side, right? This is a topographical map that shows the actual where, like, the creek is not there anymore, but how the actual creek was formed and what it looked like. So you could and it's the actual hills and all of that cut into that. Let's take a little bit of a closer look. So you can see how the names would be separated. These lines, we've been trying to work through this. At first it was supposed to be one big slab, which I like, but that is kind of impossible from what I learned on the technical side. So they have to cut these slabs into pieces. So we're working around the lines. I still think it went really well. This is my artist statement. If we need to, I can just send it. Maybe Elizabeth can send this to y'all so y'all can read my thoughts. I try to keep it simple, quick, or to the point, like to the point of what I was feeling and what inspired me after learning about this community and making this.
Is there going to be water running across the top of it?
Nah, we thought about that. That is too hard. Like, technically, it's a whole lot of stuff. It may go where when it rains, but like when I learned so much about like maintenance, how much water will break things down, like the city, I was in like, if y'all would have saw some of my early drawings, you'd have been like, this is outrageous. Like, and so they had to scale me back because I had big dreams, you know. But I think I wanted to keep the main things, because I do agree. Why is it called Mill Creek if it ain't no creek? Like little questions that I had to ask, and I think children will be asking that. So those things, those topographical things, I think are very important. But yeah, we want to water there. We want to water at Harris Stowe. Everybody keep telling me nah. So, but we gonna keep pushing. We'll see, we see if we can pull that off. But they ain't going for it right now. So here go our map. So what we did with the map, you see these bronze pieces, right? So these buildings still exist. So we want to make sure that you could see these certain things still are alive, but and it shows how much of this neighborhood has been removed, like on a bigger level. So the white parts, it'll be white paint inlay. The streets are clearly marked, like Jefferson, Market, but the bronze pieces are buildings that still exist, right? And then this line around here is basically showing you where you are standing at right now. So this is where the stadium will be, and as you can see, that's a lot of buildings, that's a lot of homes that used to be right there. And then there's this one that is lifted up, like this is bronze, but it's gonna be like a little bit off of the thing. And that's gonna be this is where you are here signifier. We got all of that, and this little key, this legend right here. We got the compass to tell you which way you're looking, and then we got this another bronze inlay to show you where north actually is from where you're standing, where you would be standing looking at this, what true north is, to give you orientation. You know what I'm saying, of where everything is. We going back and forth on that. We was talking about that earlier today. And then you could see that this shows you, this is just signifier Forest Park is this way, the river is this way. Another thing that just grounds you and where you at on the map and what you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a closer look at the topography part. So this is the Mississippi River, right? And this is it's gonna be like a block. We're gonna mark off, but this is the neighborhood. So even for me, I was like, so the creek was this big to where the neighborhood is just like this little corner over here, but this thing was running through, like basically the whole city was running through everything. And I think this is at one point Shoto Lake or whatever that lake, wherever the body of water was accumulating at. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not fully sure what the name of that is. I think that's Shoto Lake. But these will be two different grades, right? So how I showed you, the front side is super shiny on the bigger plinths, or the bigger monuments, and then one side is not. This whole thing will be like a rougher texture, not so shiny, but the water will be super shiny, like this part in here. So you'll be able to see the difference between where the body of water is laying, how the hills were basically laid out. And this is also, these cracks of the creek itself, and that goes into the Mississippi River. And all of it'll be writing to signify where you at. It also works as like you could sit there too, and if we had running water, also they told, if you have running water, people can't sit there. So it's also it's one or the other. They kept, I had to make some choices, So yeah, I had to stand up, show some respect, So okay, so and these things, all these things is these little metal things, just so people can't skateboard up and down. And so I'm also looking into I really want vandalism proof, like the monuments, all of that. We thinking about that because one, this is the only place, again, in the country for any sports team at all that has any kind of political anything out in front of it, any kind of political monument. So I know it's gonna bring some attention from some of the people we don't want it from. So we're trying to safeguard this thing as much as possible too, to make sure that we can repair it quickly if it does, like sledgehammer, whatever, people invent ways to break things, but also just basic spray paint. I think we got that covered to where we can clean that and buff the granite back down. It's one last piece of this. It's this tactile model. So people gonna be going back and forth, walking, running in this area, right? But at the corner, there's gonna be this model, smaller for people, differently able people. It also have a lot of information that I didn't write into the plinth. So to have like the date of when that map comes from. And so another thing, we haven't wrote that yet. So what do you want in there? All right. So like people that live there, what do you want people to know? Like I would really like y'all to help us out with that. I might have put you on the spot right there, Elizabeth. I'm sorry. But I want information from people that live there so that we can we can fill in some blanks that ain't gonna be cut in stone, you know. And so I want just to think through what kind of information you think is important. But for the main point, I know that we're gonna be explaining a lot of stuff that's going on in the piece of artwork. So like, why is it 3 names there? I'm so confused. All you gotta do is just walk over here. It's gonna tell you why those 3 names are there. What time period is this map from? Who are these people that these names are from? All of that sort of stuff is gonna be on this joint right here. You know, so we're gonna be breaking all of those facts down, so you could get the full idea of what's going on here. I also want to make sure. Okay, go ahead. I got to find one more piece to show you.
So, Mr. Davis, should I ask that question now? What is it that you want people to know?
I would like people to sit down and write me some stuff. You know, I think we're going to come up with some stuff here, but I would like emails, like if possible. You know, if you feel comfortable with that. Everybody might not like computers to the same degree too, you know, but we could do that now, but I also would like, you know, for the writers, you know, the teachers, you know, to write me some stuff down, so that we could get to Elizabeth, so we could put it all together, you know, make a little amalgamy of it, you know. But we could go to that because I think the next slide is the Q&A. But I want to show y'all where the actual name is gonna be at, and did he put it in the slideshow? All right, so you see this wall right here. You can't see it because we don't got a close-up of it, but it's gonna say Mill Creek Valley Plaza right there, big, huge letters on this seat wall. I really wanted everybody to see that, but I don't got that slide. But that's where that's gonna go. So you know what you're standing in. You know, not like you know where you at. So that's gonna go right across there, against that wall. And yeah, I'm here to hear from y'all. I guess this is I don't know. Y'all probably don't care about this, but these are the plants. These are some of the plants that's gonna be planted in the green space. So they plants that's gonna be, they supposed to be indigenous to here, so that they ain't gotta do too much upkeep, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah, but you know, I was not in charge of this. I want to say that, you know. But I, you know, word to them. I don't know plants like that, but we had a landscape architect that they know what they're doing. So this is what that's what this is. And now, yeah, whatever questions I want to hear from y'all. So I wish the last time I was there you could have seen this in person, you know, but like that now you know at least what it's gonna look like and stuff like that.
This is